Configuring the front end, Section 7. Configuring templates. In this section of the course, we will configure our Angular app to use the same Bootstrap theme that we have created and used in the Express.js application. We'll modify all the components that we have already created in the previous section by moving all of the handlebars template code from the Express.js app to the associated Angular components. And then here is a snapshot of what the About page looks like in our Express.js application. So when all the Angular components are properly configured, we should have the same design layout as you've seen here and also in our Express app. Okay, so let's go and get started. All right, so we're here in the IDE. I'm going to go to the back end first and just run our application in the back end. So if you remember the Express application, and I want to see what that site looks like. So when we build our page, it will have the same layout. So let's go to the browser and navigate to, I think it's like 3000 was the port number. All right, so this is the Express app, and we're going to design our Angular to look exactly the same as this one here. So we have, 5 navigation links up here, and as you can see, it's already built. So basically, we're just going to transfer it over and move it into Angular. So let's go back. Okay, I can close this tab now, and let's open the other tab for the front end. Let's go in here and also run the ng-serve, run the app. And one of my changes, we can also just update our site. So while that's running, we can just close this now and go ahead and make those moves. So first things first, so in the back end, we're going to just basically move everything from the views. Okay, all these are the views to our source components over here. So let's do the index first. Now this index here, as you can see, was very basic. So we're going to go to the views up here. And in the, not index, no, that's not in the layouts. Yeah, the layout is the one that we want. Okay, so you can just copy everything over if you want, or I think the safer way to do is basically, copy these links here all the way here to this head tag, copy that, leave that open, and then move it to the index file. So those will go right below here, okay? We'll put it right here. Okay, and then we can go back and then copy the other ones. So the navigation will move this to the body, to a different tag, that may be the home tag. But I'm gonna go to the footer. Well, below the footer, just these scripts that are here, this Bootstrap scripts. Copy all of those and put it right below here, before the app root. Okay, so these are the ones that we need. We will have to modify these a little bit, but so the style sheet, we'll be using this style sheet, the default style sheet in our code right here. Okay, there's nothing there, but we're going to copy that over and put it here. So that means in our index, we're going to modify this to just use the style sheet, and it will just go directly to that style sheet like this. Okay. Now these are the bootstraps and the scripts or the CSS here. Any additional CSS, mainly from the bootstrap. These will be coming from our assets folder. So let's go to the assets folder here. Well, as you can see, there's nothing here yet. We just have 1 gig keep. But we're going to copy what we already have in the public folder in the back end. So in the public folder, we see the bootstrap folder, images, and style sheet. So just copy all of these folders here. 4 of these folders. Okay, just copy it. And then we'll paste it right into the assets folder over here on the Angular side. Just paste it right in. So everything is in tag now. All right, so we brought everything over. And we just have to change this URL of the links here to point to that location. So these are going to go into the assets folder. Okay, so we just put assets here. Oops. Yeah, I'll just copy this and replace these with the assets. And so that's there. The style sheet is already good. Yeah, all these bootstrap things will be from the assets folder. Okay, I think this is done for this file. This is the root file. Maybe I'm just going to rename this with that space in here. Okay, so this one is done for now. We can close this and we're done with the layout. No, we keep the footer. So now let's go to the next view. I want to do the home, well, the root component, this one here. What does it do? Now we're going to remove all of these. We don't need this anymore. So let's Control Alt and remove everything. Then we're going to go to the layout and we'll replace all of these here with the content from the body all the way, from navigation all the way down to the end of the footer. Everything here, excluding that bootstrap theme down there, remove, copy all of those and put it inside the app component. And here is, we're going to replace that with a router outlet. Okay, so the router outlet will be right in here. This is what we want. When we click on, each of these things, it will flow and display render into that location. So the footer is down here. The navigation is up here. So we're good. This is the shell. And then I think this is done for this part. All right. So we're good. We can close this now. And just to see what that looks like, we can go to the Angular page and see if that's what it looks like. So localhost 4200. As you can see, it's coming along. Not everything yet, but we have the navigation bar, we have the footer. The content, it's been displayed right now because we have the home to display this default message, right? So it looks good. As you can see, if you go into these pages, you see that we have the layout already kind of match what we want. And the home page will look something like that compared to the back end. Perfect. Okay, so now let's go and add those components. So that's just done. Let's go to the home page first. The home page will be the index, and all you have to do is just copy everything, add to the home component in the HTML. So let's replace everything and just save it. You close it. Let's go to the about and copy over. Save the contact. You can see how easy this is now because it's just front end. And then the login. So we have a login here. And then there is the register. It goes to our register. I think. And then our providers, right? We have a providers here. So let's go to the providers. That's inside the providers here. And we'll eventually add these later on. For now, we just need the main list, which is the providers list here. So we're going to copy this one here and add that to the providers component here. Okay, so well, has some errors because this is syntax from handlebars. We'll modify those. But let's save this and let's close the back end and see what it looks like. So we have some spaces. Yeah, you gotta fix this error first, otherwise Angular's not gonna like it. So here we go. Yeah, we got the error. Let's fix that first. What that means, in order for this to work, we have to change it to Angular. So here is it's a loop. We'll do something similar. So we'll replace this with the ng container, and we'll use the ng for we say let provider of providers. Okay, that's if you remember from the previous section, and we'll close that at the very bottom, replace this and each here with that tag. Okay, so that's the Angular view now, and then we'll remove this line, and then now all of these here we'll just say we'll replace it with provider.id. Okay, so all of these will be like that. So we'll put provider.id, .name, last name, first name, company name. Same thing here too. All of these will be replaced with that provider down here as well. And anywhere else? One more here. Okay, so those are fixed, except we have one area here, providers. There's no providers available. So let's create that for this template to make it work. That means I need to create, let me just collapse all these first, kind of messy now. All right, because there's no data, right? In our providers list, there's no data here. So I want to do is create another variable here, like providers equals something, because our is empty. If I do that, it's happy, but there's no data. So if you go to the view, it should load. As you can see now, it looks just like the previous one, right? So you go to the home page. It's seamless. It looks exactly the same, except the title is a little bit different here. But providers, you can see we have no data. Contact looks good. Login, register, and so just add one more thing here, and then we're done with this one here to kind of give the same look as this. These data come from the sample, just a sample object, but eventually this will be coming from the database. So let's go and add that really quick. It's a really easy one actually. We have already in the back end, in the models folder, we have this providers.js, right? So I'm just going to copy this models folder and add it to our app folder, okay? Inside the app folder, just copy in there. And we're going to modify this providers. It has to be a TypeScript, so the name has to be changed to TS. And I want to say providers.data.ts, okay? Have a little different name. And up here, we'll just export it out. So it's just export. And that's it. We export that providers out. And then now, so we don't need to do that at the bottom. I think we have it at the very bottom. It's a big file. Yeah, we don't need this part here. Okay, so we got our data, and then we have to import it to this providers component. So on the top here, you can go and put, you can type it up, import. I think if you just do here, it might even just do it for you. So providers, there we go. It does automatically for you, right? You import it from the providers data. Pretty cool. So now we have the actual data coming from the data file. And now if you go to the view, and there it is. All our data are here. Okay, beautiful. Because the navigation works, because in the previous section we already configured our routes, right? What we haven't configured is these are here. So when we click on more, notice it goes to the details page. So this is another route we have to create. The edit would be the same thing, and then the delete here, we also have to configure that as well. Okay, when we go to the delete URL here. But so far so good. And just one tiny thing here we'll fix really right now. As you can see, there's some spaces here, and we don't have it here. So if something didn't, port through over, but we can easily do that very quickly right now. So go to the CSS part inside the component. Providers component HTML, and we can just add to the links down here. Not here, these right here. So we're gonna add the for each of these anchor links, we can add another CSS here for the X system, right? So MX, we'll just put a 1 margin, MX margin in the X direction 1 pixel. Okay, so just do that, MX-1. The last one, MX-1, and that should give us some, margins around the buttons. So if we save it, go to the view again, there it is. So we have the nice spaces around each of these buttons. Okay, so as you can see, we got it. It's all good, and we are now ready to go to the next part. So in the next video, we will create the main navigation component in the footer as well, and update our code to let Angular handle all the navigation links.